instance is okay. So I'm gonna check. Okay, so there's two things I'm gonna do today. Make sure it's coming through. Looks like it's coming through. Alright, so there's a couple things I'm going to do today. Probably not going to be able to see the chat that well because I have some other stuff open. I'm going to show how to use the Amiga emulator to play Amiga games. In particular, I'm going to focus on a game called Operation Thunderbolt, which I played with my best friend probably in 12th or 11th grade at arcades on these big machines. And the best reproduction of this game that I've seen at least is with the Amiga. And then besides that, I mean, I'll have another instance of Firefox open here. I'll move that stuff over. Close this up. If you already own the game, I'll show you how to get it. It's nice to have a lot of old games sitting around where you can download the actual ROMs. You don't have to create a ROM yourself. And what to do to get the Amiga emulator to work in Linux. And there's also another emulator that was a little harder to get. It's called Virtual Boy Advance. That I don't think has been developed for a couple years. But it plays the closest to the real thing when it comes to an arcade feel using that emulator. And this Operation Thunderbolt has the closest thing to an arcade feel that I've seen on any of these things. Virtual Boy Advance is going to be a little more difficult. It hasn't been packaged for the later versions of SUSE necessarily. The one-click install is completely disabled. I'll just start out with that. You can go to the package search for VBAM. It's softwareopensuse.org, and it's called package search. Or you can just search for. You can just search Google for OpenSUSE VBAM. And this comes up. VBAM, okay. These are all the different ones that come up. I went for the 64-bit, and I believe I got this Wycoba one, 64-bit. If you click on here, it won't do a one-click install. It'll download the RPM. And this is what you want. You can stream it off to Yast if you want. Hey, what's going on, Toby? I'm doing some emulators today. Computer how-tos. You can stream it off to Yast, or you can save the file. I saved the file. I did the RPM command because that way it'll tell you. It told me what it needed, and some of these things are a little difficult to understand. But what you do is you do RPM minus I, the name of the file you downloaded, which in this case was VBAM 200 beta 2 13 blah blah blah. Then it says it needs this library WX space ENU net. And you go into Yast and you look for something that looks like this package. I think they're the compatibility packages. Yast is the package manager for OpenSUSE. Let's look at that. In fact, I'm going to find out which file actually provides this library here by doing a search. I couldn't figure that out before. All the repos are going to load up. The more repos I get, the longer it takes. Perl. No, I don't know how to use Perl, but Perl's a cool tool. This is just some library. It's a dependency for a package that that the RPM isn't made for the current distro, so you have to kind of work out the dependencies for that. And search under RPM provides. Basically saying that all these packages would apparently provide that file. There's a file list. That wouldn't be it. This one is. So it's actually the live WXBCU net. Okay. You won't be able to tell that from the beginning, so I'll just tell you now what the answers are, because before you install a package, OpenSUSE doesn't list the packages that are actually installed there. Okay, so I had to work through that, and then I had to work through the GT, this file here. And the only reason why is it isn't packaged currently with the current distribution. Otherwise, it'd be alright. It would automatically, these dependencies would be sorted out. Let me guess, it's going to be this one. Yeah. So it's the WX, this one right here. So I don't know if I'll write in my YouTube notes once it gets streamed over there. But I might. Okay, so those are at least two of them. There were other dependencies I had to work through. So you have to struggle through it, but eventually the RPM that you'll get, and I'll show you where to get it for, actually I already did, from the SUSE site. You download it by clicking on 64-bit here. It'll land in your directory, RPM -I, and then it won't tell you anything's wrong. Except for maybe it's not digitally signed, but I'm not worried about that. So, okay, so how do we use this thing? It was kind of difficult to figure out. And of course, if you own a Game Boy, then you have the game already, but some people have packaged these things as ROMs, so you can go get the ROMs. And the best one for Pacman, it has more of a, the feel of a arcade, like it was back in the old days. Damn, I lost the page for that. But it was Pacman. What was it called? The Pacman Collection Game Boy. So let's do that one. Of course, you have to own a Game Boy to do this. Pacman Collection Game Boy. We're supposed to own a Game Boy to do this. Find a play. This one here, Arcade Spot, you can actually play online without doing anything. They'll just let you play it. And maybe it's here. This Love ROMs thing here. Because it's not easy to turn these doohickeys into a ROM, but these people have managed to do that. I think you click on this download now. I didn't need to allow it to do anything there. Maybe this isn't the page I got it from. Because I'm in Linux, I'm as concerned about that. I don't think that's going to be it. Maybe this one. EMU Paradise. Yeah, probably from here. Alright, so they don't have it. Where the hell did I get that from? Copy from here. Should have kept that page open, but I didn't. Alright. Dope ROMs. Okay. Probably from right here. Probably yeah, let's see if it comes up. Yeah, it's here. It's strange. There it is. Alright, so I got it. And then what I did is I just placed it. I'm not going to close up these tabs. Just placed it in a directory. anywhere on your I have to place it in this VBAM directory, unzipped it, doesn't matter if you do that. So let's start VBAM up. Okay, it doesn't do anything to start with. You have to open up one of these files. I'm going to open the one I had already. The screen doesn't matter that much. Press start means enter. And the left and right arrows will take a little time to get there. And there's a full screen and there's a scroll. Oh, sorry. Now those don't hose ROMs work for mobile emulator. It's an emulator on PC. Those ROMs work for mobile emulator or just on PC. Some of these emulators work on cell phones, man. So it doesn't just necessarily work on a PC. I don't know about I've got the name of it. Virtual Boy Advance. I'm not quite sure if if anybody's ported that, say, in the Android store. That's where I'd look. I mean, there's a lot of emulators in the Android store. I've seen DOSBox in there and things like that. The ROMs themselves, it's just a file that the program has to open. So if Virtual Boy Advance is running in your cell phone, you would download this file, provided you have a Game Boy, with Pacman, and then you load it up, and with the game like I just did, but it would be there, and that ROM file would be on your cell phone, and you'd be able to play, but the screen would be smaller, I would imagine. Alright, so here it's a little confusing. The A key is really the X key, the B key, Z. If you pick Z, you'll lose because it only shows half the screen. So I'm going to go with X. X again, and you get to start. This is pretty close to the original. Now to get out of this, just press escape. Or close it. Or wait. Get it for now, get it for now. Okay. And this is going to be terminating. Okay, that's terminated. Alright, so now let's try, this is going to be easier. This is using the Amiga to run the game that was an arcade game called Operation Thunderbolt. Alright, so, I'll catch you later. So there's a repository made by the Amiga people that make the Amiga emulator for Linux. This is the graphical user interface front end for launching. Works a little bit different than VirtualBox does. And what you want to do is you go to fs/uae.net, find your distribution or your flavor of computer, Windows, Mac, Linux, obviously not for Amiga because you don't need to emulate Amiga if you have an Amiga. I'm going to pick open SUSE, which is my favorite. And I happen to be doing 42.2, so you could highlight this line and just go in. You have to be root, so you can go SU after you open up the console, supply your password, and then you can just literally edit, paste in this, press enter. It'll add the repository. Next step is refreshing Zipper refresh. Zipper is the command line package manager for SUSE. Someone had a sense of humor. Okay. Edit paste, press enter, it'll refresh the repositories. First one adds it. Some stuff will come up you're not going to see here because I'm not going to bother going through it again. And then it tells you to install this stuff, zipper install, copy, edit paste, and it'll download the program and install it for you. It doesn't take that long. Once you're done, you're ready to use the Amiga emulator, and the first problem I had was figuring out how the hell does this thing work. And then the second thing is if you happen to have owned an Amiga and you happen to have owned Operation Thunderbolt in the past, you can download that from this EMU Paradise. Once again, these are Amiga ROMs. This happens to be emuparadise.me, Amiga ROMs, Operation Thunderbolt 6920. Download links are here. You just get these two things, which are actually floppy disks. This whole thing fits on 2 floppy disks. Click on it. Once you downloaded it, you can right-click on it, extract here, or whatever works in your operating system. You have to unzip the files. I'm pretty sure you have to unzip it. Okay, so then you want to get this thing running. It's FSUAE launcher. I forgot what command I used for this thing. But I'll find out because I'll just close this. Alright. What was that? It's gone already. Let's do it again. FS/UAE/launcher, at least in SUSE. Launch. Alright, so we're there. Then we go to floppies, and I'm going to select the ADF file that I unzipped. Put disk in each one. Okay, then I'm going to start this machine to start working. Press start. Now, currently, this version that I've downloaded has been cracked, so Operation Thunderbolt is an impossible game to play. You wouldn't last 2 seconds in it. It's designed to get people feeding the quarters at the arcades. And back in the old days, they had this big arcade and 2 fake guns sitting there, and people could play doubles, and they could feed this thing with quarters until they died, and they'd probably never win, and I'll show you why with this game. And everybody that gives tips for this game says, use your bullets sparingly, blah, blah, blah. And if you get hurt in the first round, it carries over the second round. And okay, so I guess Oracle has done me a favor. So I'm going to press all the Fs up till F8 because I actually want to play more than 10 seconds. Which is about as hard as this game is. I'm going to press Enter, I think, or spacebar, or... And the only thing I don't like about this is that it tends to like to make noises as if this were an Amiga. Now, to get your mouse out of its trapped circumstance, you can press the middle scroll thing of your mouse, and wow. There it is. So what I'm going to do is rearrange some things here. I don't need this exposed anymore. That anymore. Let's put this over here. That over there. And I guess I'll press enter. Press the mouse or whatever. Eventually it'll come. Okay. This is pretty close to what way it was in the arcade. This is an insane game. This is a game that would just waste a lot of money. You can go full screen if you want. Supposedly it's grinding the gears to, press enter. Okay. So basically, I've unlimited bullets. See how crazy this is? You're only given a certain amount of bullets. I would have already been dead by now if I didn't have the cheat codes in there. Basically, you just... The way you're supposed to play the game is like one little thing at a time. And you don't start out with this little laser sighter, so see how quickly you die? It's impossible. Or maybe I just suck at video games. Or both. So anyway, I'm just going to do this like I'm... If they got machine guns, I might as well have machine guns as well. So... This is absolutely ridiculous. It's like Rambo defeating an entire army. And you try not to kill innocent things in this. It does get a little redundant after a while. Well, and another thing, with those parachutes drop and you shoot it and the thing comes out, you're actually supposed to shoot the little grenade coming from the side or you don't get anything from it.
Made contact with intelligence agents and obtained information.
14% hit rate. I'm a good shot. If someone throws a knife at you, you can actually hit it with your gun if you're fast enough. As you can see, this is close to impossible. Yeah, I would have been dead already. It's impossible. It's not even close to fair with two people playing. Yeah, it's just be sparing your bullets with this game. What a rip-off. People just putting quarters in this thing.
Successful.
And it'd start you over. It wouldn't give you more life. Imagine this, yeah. Bramble's gonna come in and kill all these people. With limited ammunition, of course, right? I'm just gonna play the whole game in cheat mode. I don't know if anybody's ever finished it. It's fucking outrageous. It's just impossible. It's just impossible. One guy's gonna walk down the street with a machine gun and beat an entire army, I'm sure, right?
Arrived at enemy hideout.
It's like Butthead. Sounds like Beavis, not Butthead. The squeaking floppy disks is really annoying. Shit. That was insane. How many people are there? Oh my God. This guy doesn't die.
Succeeded in rescuing hostages.
U-boats and I don't know, beach on D-Day. I mean, it's insane.
Arrived at enemy headquarters.
Really? Wow, that is a miracle. So I'm going to admit, the Amiga was a pretty good gaming platform. Much better than the DOS programs. Great. Hands up while you get killed, why don't you? We got guys hanging from the roof. Fucking hang, man. Oh god. Great. Hide behind the... I think I'd wait till the gunfire left before I'd get out, quite frankly, but... All I'm doing is move my mouse back and forth. It's just ridiculous. Look at this. Oh god. But yeah, dude. Where'd that guy come from?
Succeeded in rescuing hostages.
Come on, man. Come on, man. This is insane. Boom. Before I go through one of these rounds, just
Passenger
walk.
plane for escape.
196 to 1, yeah. That's likely. Oh god. That's a pretty big plane. same lady. Get off the plane, lady. I gotta let the grenades hit me. Oh, God. Oh, God. I think I've lost.
The pilot is dead. Escape is impossible. Operation initiated. Rescue all hostages.
Alright, so that's that game. Brings me all the way back. Hope it doesn't bring me back to the beginning. Alright, let's just walk. Let's just walk like we're the Terminator.
Gather.
Yeah, no bother. I'm just walking. I'm just walking here. Get options away. You can't kill me. Get out of the way. Yeah, because I don't want to kill anybody anyway, right? You can't kill me, man. So what are you shooting for? The cheat code get me up to the last level.
Made contact with intelligence agents and obtained information.
All right. bogus. You can't kill me. I'm the T-1000. Your name is Wigan Ninja. Wigan Ninja? Not really. Why are you following me?
Raid such. Search enemy bunkers.
Okay. I'll just walk. F7 jumps to the next level. Let's try that. No. Okay. Or maybe.
Arrived at enemy hideout.
So that's the last level. Alright, so I've seen the whole game. No need to continue. Get out. This is gonna be the most ridiculous game ever invented. Yeah, what's going on, prototype? So just not really playing a prototype. It's a very old game, and I've just finished showing a couple emulators, and I'm probably gonna stop for now. Well, I am gonna stop.